Have you ever experienced that moment when you suddenly realize even family isn't always the steady support you thought they would be? That feeling can be heavy, like an uncomfortable truth that slowly unfolds as we grow older. The care and protection we once believed would always be there start to change, shrink, or sometimes disappear altogether. Children get caught up in their own busy lives. Brothers and sisters may struggle with illness or their own burdens. Friends, the ones who once walked side by side with us, might drift away, move to another place, or even leave this world behind. And then one day you find yourself asking, who is really here for me? That question can strike like a sudden blow, especially when you're not prepared. But here's the good news, there's another path forward. Because even at 70 or beyond, you can absolutely build a life that is independent, strong, and peaceful, no matter who stays or who goes. What I want to share today isn't meant to plant bitterness in your heart, but to awaken wisdom. True support, the kind that brings comfort in a long, lonely night or a quiet afternoon, often doesn't come from family. Instead, it comes from other sources that many people overlook until it's too late. And these 5 sources are in fact the foundation, the real backbone of a free and steady life in your later years. They aren't flashy or loud, but they are forms of strength that are steady, reliable, and never leave you feeling like a burden. Stay with me, because by the end, you might just see aging in an entirely different light, one where you recognize that you're far more powerful than you ever imagined. So let's begin with the very first factor, physical mobility. At 70, the ability to move freely without constant help is not just about walking. It's about freedom. It's about dignity. And in many ways, it's the single most important support you can give yourself without depending on anyone else. Being mobile means you can rise from bed each morning without assistance, cook a warm meal with your own hands, reach up to that cabinet to grab your favorite dish, or step outside to breathe in the fresh morning air whenever you wish. That is not just physical strength. It is control over your life. And more importantly, it is a kind of emotional support no one talks about. Because it gives you confidence, restores your self-belief, and eases the fear of having to rely completely on others. When your body can still move with ease, the fear of becoming a burden to others begins to fade away. But let's be honest, at 70 and beyond, staying active doesn't mean running marathons or pulling off acrobatic flips. It's simply about keeping your joints flexible, your balance steady, and your muscles strong enough so your legs can be trusted to carry you. Small, simple habits like stretching each morning, taking a 15-minute stroll, or using light resistance bands can create a powerful difference. And here's the truth, it's never too late to start. Many people believe losing mobility is inevitable. It's not. In fact, your body responds directly to how you treat it. The more you move, the more it fights to keep moving. Your body listens to your actions far more than to your age. On a deeper level, physical mobility helps fight a hidden fear that weighs on most older adults, the fear of helplessness. When your body grows dependent, your mind begins to shrink as well. You start doubting yourself. You avoid trips, decline gatherings, and turn down invitations. Not because you've lost interest, but because a quiet fear whispers, what if I can't manage? That's not real aging. That's a shrinking life. And you don't have to live that way. I'm reminded of Mr. Lamb, a 78-year-old man I once met in a seaside park. Every morning, rain or shine, he makes his rounds with a cane. I asked him one day why he was so committed, and he smiled. Because the day I stop walking is the day I start waiting for someone to lift me up. And I don't want to wait, I want to live. His stride may not be perfect, but it's his own, and it gives him peace. He still drives to the market, still visits friends on Sunday afternoons, and still climbs the 3 steps to his porch with pride. Not because someone built him a ramp, but because he refused to stop moving. The truth is, when you invest even a little in your body, it pays you back with freedom, the kind of freedom so many people only recognize once it's gone. Family won't always be there to drive you to appointments or pick you up after a fall. But if your legs are strong, your core steady, and your balance reliable, you can extend your independence far longer than most people expect. And that independence becomes a true source of confidence, not just for your body, but for your spirit as well. So if lately you felt stiff, weak, or a little out of shape, don't criticize yourself. Begin exactly where you are. Move a little more today than you did yesterday. Stretch while the coffee brews. Take an extra lap down the hallway, because these small efforts add up into something powerful. A foundation you can trust, to one that walks beside you, no matter who else shows up. Now let's move to the second pillar, financial simplicity. By the time you reach your 70s, peace of mind has little to do with the size of your bank account. Instead, it comes from knowing what you truly need, what you can manage, and how to live within your means without fear or shame. Simplifying your finances is one of the strongest forms of support you can rely on. And best of all, it's something you can control entirely on your own. The truth is, financial complexity becomes emotional baggage. Too many bank accounts, piles of bills, mounting credit cards, endless subscriptions. It's not just stressful, it slowly erodes your sense of security. And in later years, security isn't just about comfort, it's about survival. No matter how much your family loves you, they can't erase financial chaos for you. But a clear, simple plan acts like a sturdy cane for your soul, carrying you through even the hardest times. Here's what most people misunderstand. Simplifying your money doesn't mean losing control, it means regaining it. It's about embracing a modest lifestyle that fits you, not other people's expectations. It's the freedom to buy what you truly need without second-guessing every dollar. Like clearing out a cluttered room. Once everything is in order, your mind can finally rest. Psychologically, financial simplicity clears away one of the heaviest burdens of later life uncertainty. Countless older adults lie awake at night, haunted by questions like, will I outlive my savings? What if I can't afford a caregiver someday? These worries often cut deeper than physical pain. But when you know where your money goes, when your spending is intentional, and your needs are met without strain, you sleep better, you walk taller, and you carry yourself with peace of mind. I think of Mrs. Land, my 74-year-old neighbor, a widow who once worked as a librarian. After her husband passed away, she sat down with a financial counselor and reshaped her life. She sold her big house and moved into a smaller place, cut down on bills, kept just one credit card, and canceled every subscription she didn't use. She told me, I used to be afraid of the mailbox. Now I open every letter with a calm heart and a clear mind. She even started a little jar called her Freedom Fund, dropping in just a few dollars whenever she could. It wasn't the amount that mattered, it was the reminder that she was in charge of her money, not the other way around. What she did wasn't magic, it was choice. A quiet but powerful decision to simplify her finances so she could focus on living, not merely surviving. And here's the truth, when your finances are simple, you need fewer people to manage them. You don't have to call your children every time a bill confuses you. You don't need to wait for someone to explain the fine print. You can handle it. You are the captain. So if money feels overwhelming right now, pause and take a deep breath. You're not alone, and you don't need to be wealthy. What you need is clarity. Cancel what you don't use, combine what you can, write down what comes in and what goes out. Make it so simple that you could explain it to a friend over a cup of coffee. Because in the end, peace isn't found in the numbers, it's found in the knowing. Your support is what allows us to keep creating content that informs, uplifts, and inspires. Now let's move on to the third foundation of strength, a consistent health routine. At 70 and beyond, your greatest support isn't your children, your neighbors, or even your doctor. It's your daily health routine. And I'm not talking about flashy workouts or overpriced supplements. I mean the small, steady actions you repeat every single day to keep your body and mind in balance. This is the true foundation of independence, the kind of self-reliance that carries you forward. Because when your body feels steady, your spirit follows. Too many people wait until something goes wrong before they pay attention to their health. But that's like trying to fix a roof in the middle of a storm. It's too late, and it keeps you stuck in survival mode. A consistent routine changes that. It puts you back in control. When you take your morning walk, drink enough water, stretch your muscles, take your medications on time, and eat food that truly fuels you instead of just filling you, you're creating a rhythm of self-respect. And that rhythm carries you through on days when motivation is low and your body feels heavy. There is hidden power in routine, especially as the years add up. Psychologically, routines ease anxiety because they eliminate decision fatigue. You don't have to ask yourself, should I do this today? You just do it. That predictability builds stability, and stability creates confidence. And confidence is what keeps you from feeling like a burden. It allows you to proudly say, I'm still capable. I'm still moving. I still take care of me. I think think of Mr. Fuck, an 81-year-old former electrician I know. Every morning at 6 a.m., he brews a cup of green tea, does 15 minutes of chair stretches, takes his morning medication, then walks around his neighborhood for half an hour, rain or shine. He once told me, "This isn't about exercise. It's about reminding myself every morning that I still matter." That struck me deeply, because his routine isn't just about fitness, it's about identity, about staying connected to the part of himself that refuses to give up simply because the years keep adding on. With a steady routine in place, you'll realize that you actually need less help, not more. You're less likely to miss your medication, less likely to fall, and less likely to feel lost throughout the day. It's like carving a solid path through a foggy forest. No matter how unclear things seem, your feet remember the way because they've walked it countless times. That's real support, and it depends on no one but you. Of course, some days are harder than others. Your joints ache, your energy dips, or the weather keeps you inside. That's okay. A routine doesn't need perfection, it needs consistency. A short walk around the house, a few deep breaths by the window, or simply finishing a full glass of water before bed. These aren't grand tasks, but together they weave a safety net that holds you, steadies you, and keeps you moving forward with grace. So if you've been feeling stuck, or maybe let your routine slip, lately start again with something small. One habit, one action, because every time you show up for yourself, you're proving one powerful truth: the best caregiver I have is me. And that's a kind of support no one can ever take away. Now let's move on to the fourth pillar, emotional resilience. If there's one form of support that grows more valuable with age, it's emotional strength. Not money, not even physical health. Because when your emotions are strong, you can withstand almost anything. Loneliness, grief, setbacks, and yes, even the disappointments that sometimes come from family. Emotional resilience is what allows you to sit in silence without feeling empty and to face hardships without being destroyed by them. By 70, life has likely already handed you more than a few losses, perhaps the passing of a spouse, children drifting away, or the decline of your own health. And the greatest mistake many make is believing that being strong means never feeling sad. But that's not the truth. True resilience is about allowing yourself to feel deeply without drowning in it. It's about letting sorrow pass through you, not letting it take root in you. This strength doesn't come from pretending everything is fine. It comes from saying to yourself, yes, this hurts, but I can handle it. The truth is, every time you allow yourself to sit with pain, instead of running from it, you grow less afraid of whatever lies ahead. That is strength, that is liberation. Because in that moment, you're not leaning on others to carry your sorrow. You're learning how to hold it without letting it break you. I think of Mrs. Mai, a 7-year-old woman who lost her husband 5 years ago and has lived alone ever since. I once asked her, "What helps you get through the hardest days?" She smiled softly and replied, "Every night I light a candle. Not because I'm religious, but because it reminds me that I'm still here. Some nights I cry, other nights I laugh, but I always tell myself, you made it through today." That tiny ritual is her way of honoring her grief without allowing it to consume her. That is resilience. You see, emotional strength isn't only about surviving major tragedies. It's also about managing the smaller disappointments of daily life, when your son forgets to call, when a friend moves away, when you realize you can no longer do what once came easily. If you crumble at every shift, life becomes far too painful to enjoy. But with emotional resilience, you gain freedom. You are no longer at the mercy of other people's choices or the world's changes. You remain steady because you choose your response. Psychologically, resilience rewires the brain. It slows down racing thoughts, teaches your nervous system to stay calm, and builds confidence that even in uncertainty, you'll be okay. In an older age, when uncertainty is a constant companion, that is one of the greatest gifts you can ever give yourself. And if you're wondering, how do I build this kind of resilience? It starts with awareness. Speak to yourself with kindness. Allow your emotions to be real, but don't let them spiral out of control. Sometimes the strongest anchors in life come from the simplest routines. Jotting down a few thoughts in a notebook, taking a walk in nature, or playing your favorite music just to feel alive again. And remind yourself often you have survived every hard season up until now. That's not luck, that's strength. So even if family drifts away, even if health weakens, as long as your emotional core stays strong, you will stand tall with clear eyes, a steady heart, and the quiet certainty that you are enough even on your own. If you're still here watching and finding these insights meaningful, leave a comment with the number 4 below to let me know you're with me. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell so you won't miss future videos. Your support is what fuels us to keep creating content that informs, inspires, and uplifts. Now let's move to the 5th and final pillar, a personal code of values. There is something deeply powerful about having your own set of values, especially after 70. When the world around you changes, when people disappoint you, and when the future feels uncertain, your values become your compass. They remind you who you are, what matters, and how you choose to live, no matter what others do. Too many older adults lose direction because they've spent their entire lives living by other people's expectations, being the devoted parent, the loyal worker, the supportive spouse. But once those roles fade, they're left wondering, who am I now? And that's where a personal code steps in. It declares, this is who I am. This is how I live, whether anyone is watching or not. A strong personal code might include honesty, kindness, responsibility, simplicity, or self-respect. These values aren't flashy, they won't impress anyone else. And that's exactly the point. When you live by your own values, you stop needing approval. You stop chasing validation. You stop being shaken when someone disagrees because your peace no longer depends on them. Let me tell you about Mr. Howe, a man I met in his early 80s. He told me that he lives by just 5 simple rules. I speak the truth. I never waste food. I always return what I borrow. I forgive quickly, and I go to bed with a clear conscience. That's it. And the remarkable thing is he lives by those rules every single day. He isn't wealthy. He doesn't have a big family around him. Yet whenever you meet him, there's a quiet dignity about him that's rare and unforgettable. Why? Because he knows exactly who he is. His code of values anchors him. Psychologically, having a personal code helps reduce regret and makes choices simpler. You don't lie awake at night wondering, did I do the right thing? Because you already know what the right thing is for you. It also creates inner stability. When life throws a curveball, and it will, you don't panic. Instead, you ask, what do my values say about this? And that becomes your compass. In fact, studies in elder psychology show that seniors who live by a consistent set of values report greater life satisfaction, lower anxiety, and stronger cognitive health. Why? Because clarity creates calm. When your life has a thread of integrity running through it, you remain grounded. And here's the most important part, your values are yours. No one has to agree with them. You don't need to explain them. You just need to live them. That's where the real power lies. Whether it's waking up early to greet the sunrise, refusing to gossip, showing generosity even with little to spare, or staying curious about the world, whatever values speak to your soul, hold them close and let them guide you. Because one day when you look into the mirror at 75 or 85 and can say, I lived according to what I believe, that is real success. That is true self-respect. And no one, not your children, not society, not even time itself can take that away. It's the kind of support that never fades because it lives inside you. In the end, this journey isn't about being remembered by everyone else. It's about being at peace with yourself. A personal code gives you that peace. It doesn't shout, it doesn't boast, but it holds you quietly, faithfully, as everything else around you changes. As we age, we often reflect on who really stands beside us when the lights dim and the days grow quiet. And often it's not who we once expected. Family, friends, even our own bodies may become less reliable over time. But that doesn't mean we're left empty-handed. In fact, the older we get, the clearer it becomes that the strongest sources of support were never outside of us at all. They've been within us all along, waiting for us to lean on them. It might be the steady rhythm of daily routines, the quiet pattern that reassures both body and mind that you are safe and grounded. It might be the quiet in small pursuits, simple pleasures that make each hour feel meaningful, even in solitude. These aren't just hobbies. They are lifelines that connect you to your identity and your purpose. It can also be something as basic as taking care of your physical body, keeping your legs strong, eating balanced meals. These small acts often determine whether you live independently or in dependence. That isn't vanity, it's wisdom. Self-care isn't selfish, it's survival. And let's not forget the mind. Staying curious, staying engaged, staying alive in the world of ideas ensures that you don't fade, you adapt, you evolve, you surprise even yourself. Above all, having a personal code of values becomes your compass and your armor. It allows you to age with dignity and one day leave this world in peace. So what does this mean? It means that the most reliable support system after 70 may not be another person. It is a mindset, a way of living rooted in habits, beliefs, and values that keep you steady no matter what the world does. It's about becoming your own foundation. Because when you can stand strong on your own, you never truly feel alone. That kind of inner strength is not just comforting, it's liberating. Here's a gentle challenge. After this video ends, take a moment to ask yourself, which of these supports do I already have in my life, and which one will I begin to build today? Don't be afraid to start small. Big changes often begin with one quiet decision made in the privacy of your own heart. Thank you for joining us today. Please share in the comments one thing you learned and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts mean so much to us and give us the encouragement to continue. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us keep creating content that informs, uplifts, and inspires. We look forward to seeing you in the next video.